Yin wakes up from her sleep, looking at the man next to her, still peacefully asleep. The man she finds incredibly handsome and incredibly kind to her, none other than her boyfriend, Jian JK. Yin gazes at her wrist, particularly at the part near her pulse. There is a tattoo with the inscription JK, one she intentionally got. It's a sign of Yin's profound love for JK. She is very grateful that JK exists in this world. Without him, her life might have fallen apart. Perhaps she would have taken her own life long ago. Ever since her parents passed away, the only reason she is still alive in this world is because of JK. If it weren't for him, there would be no reason for her to continue living. That's what goes through her mind. After contemplating the tattoo on her wrist for a moment, she looks back at JK, still peacefully asleep beside her. She kisses JK's cheek before finally getting up and leaving him alone in the room. JK slowly opens his eyes, although he has been awake for a while. He was aware that Yin had been gazing at him earlier, which is why he pretended to be asleep. He sighs deeply, contemplating Yin's recent actions, particularly her cheek kissing. His heart feels heavier, as he wonders how to reveal what he truly feels. JK is genuinely torn about how to express his feelings, but as the days go by, his feelings for Yin become clearer, and he increasingly realizes that he considers Yin only as his best friend. But Yin, on what basis does she consider him her boyfriend? In the early morning, JK's mind is already a jumble of thoughts about his relationship with Yin. How is this going to end? How can he even break up with Yin? Break up? They never officially started dating. So how can there be a breakup? They haven't even started a romantic relationship in the first place. JK understands that Yin has misinterpreted his kindness all this time. However, feelings can't be forced. JK tried to develop romantic feelings for Yin, but all he could feel was friendship or companionship in his heart. He refrains from revealing his true feelings to Yin because he knows she misunderstands his intentions. The time Yin proudly displayed the freshly inked tattoo on her wrist, which bore the initials JK, he was already struggling to keep his true emotions hidden. JK now sits on the edge of his bed, frustrated, ruffling his hair. He curses himself for the complexity of his life. Flashback to years ago. 2 years ago, at her university campus, Yin burst into hysterical tears when she received the news that both her parents had been in a fatal accident and passed away in their hometown, Pohang. All of Yin's friends were deeply worried upon seeing her condition, including JK. Upon receiving the news, Yin immediately fainted, and JK caught her, rushing her to the campus health unit. Jimin, V, Jenny, and Jisoo followed closely, filled with panic as they watched Yin collapse. Yin had been living separately from her parents, who resided in Pohang, while she pursued her studies in Seoul. Her apartment in Seoul was her home away from home. Similarly, JK, who hailed from Bizen, had embarked on this journey away from his hometown. Both of them lived apart from their families. Now, Yin lay on a hospital bed. Unfortunately, there was no doctor available at that moment. Her friends were visibly concerned. Jenny was gently massaging Yin's forehead with essential oils in the hope of helping her regain consciousness. Behind Jenny, Jisoo, Jimin, V, and JK waited anxiously for Yin to wake up. They all worried about what would happen if Yin were left alone. In truth, they were also deeply saddened by the recent news. They knew that Yin was an only child and only had her parents. Her grandparents had passed away, and her uncle and aunt lived abroad. Yin had previously mentioned that she wasn't close to them and had a troubled history with them. Come on, Yin, wake up, get up quickly. We're all heading to your place. At the very least, you can still attend your parents' funeral. Hey, what's going on? Yin has been unconscious for a long time. We need to hurry. Just wait a bit longer. She'll wake up for sure. We also need to pack. Is there enough time? Does anyone know her address in Pohang? It seems we should pick her up. Waiting for her to wake up will take too long. Driving from Seoul to Pohang can take 3 to 4 hours. No need to pack. Let's go as we are. Going back home will take too long. Okay, let's think about how we'll get there. Let Yin come with me. She'll be in my car. Should we bring our own cars? Isn't that excessive? We only have 3 cars. What's excessive about it? We might have a lot to deal with once we're there. So let's take all the cars. Shortly after, Yin regained consciousness and immediately started crying. Jenny and Jisoo hugged Yin, trying to comfort her. Yin, we need to leave now so we won't take too long to reach Pohang. Eventually, Yin got up slowly from the patient's bed, accompanied by Jenny and Jisoo, and they exited the campus to head to the parking lot. JK immediately opened the front passenger door of his car, and Jisoo and Jenny helped guide Yin into JK's car, where she sat down, and the car door was closed. While Jenny and Jisoo headed to Jimin's car suddenly. Hey, one of you accompany me, or I'll fall asleep during the trip. Why are both of you going with Jimin? Because Jimin's car is parked right next to JK's. Where's your car? Why did you park it so far away? Come with me. Follow my car. Finally, Jisoo followed V, who had parked his car a bit further away. Meanwhile, Jennie and Jimin got into their car, following JK's car, which began to slowly drive away. JK couldn't help but worry as Yin continued to cry. He was focused on driving carefully. Yin, please calm down. We'll be at your house soon. I can't drive any faster. Safety is also important. Yin paid no attention to JK's words and kept crying. Meanwhile, JK couldn't blame her for crying. He knew that anyone in her situation would react similarly when they had lost their parents for so long. So, he allowed her to let out all her emotions at the moment. After nearly 4 hours on the road, they finally arrived in Pohang. The day was turning into afternoon, and they were heading to the hospital where Yin's parents' bodies were kept. Yin was occupied with handling all the matters at the hospital. Additionally, she had to provide statements and explanations to the police as the sole child of the victims. After settling all the formalities, it was decided that the cremation would take place that evening, and the funeral home was conveniently located near the hospital. In the afternoon, the 6 of them returned to Yin's house, which now felt incredibly quiet. Before arriving at the house, they had briefly gone shopping for some change of clothes and food. In Yin's home, they started to eat and took turns to shower. Yin was never left alone. Her 5 friends were genuinely concerned that she might do something reckless, given her current state of deep despair. And then, JK, Jimin, and V are in the family room of Yin's house, while Jisoo is cleaning up the remnants of their meal, and Jennie is in the bathroom. Suddenly, Yin enters the kitchen. What's up, Yin? Do you want something? I just want a drink. Hearing this, Jisoo resumes her cleaning, but she keeps an eye on Yin, just as all of them do. Yin steps forward, takes a glass, fills it with water, and starts drinking. However, Yin's sobbing can still be heard, and she begins to cry again. Jisoo furrows her brow, then realizes that she can't move as quickly as Yin, who suddenly grabs a knife from the kitchen. Yin, please don't do it. Yin doesn't turn around. She just sobs uncontrollably while holding the knife in both of her hands. Yin, please, hand me the knife now. JK, V, Jimin. Hearing Jisoo's loud shout, the 3 of them rush to the kitchen, all shocked to see Yin crying while holding a knife. Yin, hand me the knife right now. Yin shakes her head, still sobbing. Jimin and V silently approach from behind, while JK continues trying to divert Yin's attention so that she doesn't look back. Please, Yin, do you think your parents would be happy to see you like this? They're already dead. They won't see me. They won't know. They sent you to school for a reason, to give you a future, not for you to end it like this. I don't care. There's no point in living anymore. Before Yin can finish her sentence, Jimin and V simultaneously grab both of Yin's hands. V on her left, Jimin on her right, with the knife still in her right hand. JK managed to wrest the knife from Yin's hand, placing it out of her reach on top of a high cabinet. Jisoo, who had been in a state of panic and tears, finally breathed a sigh of relief when she saw Yin no longer had the knife. V and Jimin cautiously released their hold on Yin's arms, and JK approached her. Yin was in a severely distraught state, and she once again lost consciousness, nearly falling to the ground. V and Jimin swiftly caught her, and JK took the lead in lifting her and placing her gently on the sofa. This is serious. Yin shouldn't be left alone for now. But how will we do it? Once we're back in Seoul, she can stay with me temporarily. If you're okay with it, JK. It's not a problem. Besides, I live alone in my apartment. The next day, Yin could be seen sobbing in front of a photo of her parents. She cried uncontrollably. There was no one left in this world who loved her. Why didn't she just die along with her parents? Jisoo and Jennie were always by Yin's side, trying to console her, but it seemed all in vain. For Yin, her parents were everything. One by one, guests began to arrive and leave, offering their condolences. After that afternoon, they had returned to Yin's house. It was their second night staying over, and the plan was to head back to Seoul the next day. JK noticed Yin sitting alone in the living room, lost in thought. Jennie was with her, but she had fallen asleep due to exhaustion. Finally, JK approached her, sitting beside Yin. Yin briefly glanced at him, but didn't respond. We'll be heading back to Seoul tomorrow. How do you feel, Yin? You guys can go back. I'll stay here. What are you planning to do alone here, Yin? And what about your studies? Yin remained silent, her tears flowing once again. What was the point of her studies? She had pursued her education to make her parents happy. She had worked hard to show them her achievements, to ensure that she could have a bright future, so she wouldn't burden them. Her goal was to secure a good job and contribute to her family's economic well-being. But now, what was left? It felt like no one valued her existence anymore. So, what was the purpose? Silently, JK observed Yin, seeming to understand her inner turmoil. He gently wiped away the tears streaming down Yin's cheeks, and then embraced her. You'll return to Seoul with us tomorrow, and stay with me for a while. Why are you being kind to me? Because I understand your situation right now, Yin. Do you pity me, JK? Anyone who sees you would feel pity, even if I were in your place. I might not be as strong as you. Being alone in this world must be incredibly painful. Hearing JK's words, Yin's tears flowed even more, and she closed her eyes. JK truly understood Yin's feelings, and he held her tightly, trying to provide some comfort, even if it was just a tiny bit. However, even though her parents had passed away, it was impossible not to feel sadness, so consoling her felt futile. What mattered most was that someone was there for her. That's what JK thought at that moment. As long as Yin needed time to recover from the loss of her parents, he would be there for her. The next day, the six of them returned to Seoul as planned. From this day onwards, Yin would stay in JK's apartment, at least until her heart healed. And it was true, JK truly took care of her exceptionally well. He didn't let Yin skip meals or go hungry. He comforted her nearly every night when she was still haunted by the memories of her parents. In JK's eyes, Yin was undeniably fragile, lacking any will to live. To Yin, her parents were her lifeline. And now that they were gone, she saw no reason to keep going. What was the point? Why should she continue? What else gave her a reason to live? She had even willingly gone to Seoul because of her parents' encouragement and persuasion, all for the sake of obtaining a good education. She wanted to go to Seoul solely to make her parents happy, the parents who were always proud of her accomplishments. For their happiness, she'd do it. But who would have thought that over time, all of JK's kindness and care would become a new source of purpose in Yin's life? She fell in love with JK, and she now had a new reason to live, which was to make JK happy. She was willing to do whatever it took to bring joy to JK. Unfortunately, JK, it turned out, didn't share the same feelings for Yin. He truly regarded Yin as nothing more than a friend who needed protection and support until her heart healed. Even many times, JK wanted to express his true feelings and intentions, that he didn't have deeper feelings for Yin, but he never succeeded, because JK couldn't bear to do it. JK rubbed his temples. He was truly confused about his relationship with Yin. Until now, he hadn't found the right way to talk to Yin without hurting her feelings. In truth, JK wanted this misunderstanding to end quickly. If not, Yin might start to believe that he was really her boyfriend. She had even begun to kiss and hug him. On the other hand, JK wanted to confront her, but there was still an uncomfortable feeling and a sense of pity for Yin. Ugh, he was really frustrated. JK got up from his seat and headed straight to the bathroom. He prepared himself to go to his office. 2 years had passed since Yin's parents' death, and the fact was that Yin still lived with JK in his apartment. Both of them had graduated from college. JK now worked at the prosecutor's office. Meanwhile, Yin was still unemployed, or more precisely, she hadn't intended to work yet. She had quite a sum saved from her parents' inheritance and also from their life insurance policies. In the kitchen, Yin was seen preparing sandwiches, for herself and of course for JK. Shortly after, JK appeared, well dressed in his suit, standing near the dining table, ready for breakfast. The sandwiches and milk were already placed on the table. JK sat down, and Yin followed suit, sitting across from him. They began to have breakfast together. Eventually, when JK was about to leave, once again, Yin kissed his cheek. "Be careful on the road. You too. Take care at home." JK started to walk out of his apartment, heading straight to the basement to get into his car. While in the car, he leaned back in the driver's seat, wondering why he couldn't just reject Yin's kiss. He could have easily avoided it or told her directly. JK let out a soft sigh, and finally, he started his car. Meanwhile, back in JK's apartment, Yin began tidying up, cleaning the entire house, including the kitchen, living room, bathroom, and bedrooms. Yin actually had her own bedroom, but she often slept with JK, by sleep, meaning just sleeping without doing anything else. It all started when Yin would cry and have nightmares almost every night. Almost every midnight, JK would find Yin crying alone in her room. So, to comfort Yin, JK invited her to sleep in the master bedroom, which was, in fact, JK's bedroom. Yin's room had a small, single bed, while JK's bedroom had a king-sized one. Since then, Yin felt more relaxed and free to sleep with JK. When Yin cried, she often slept in JK's comforting embrace. This was the reason Yin now felt comfortable enough to hug JK as well. In reality, Yin herself was confused about their relationship. JK had always treated her very well, taking care of her and protecting her. He had never ignored her, raised his voice, let alone gotten angry or harsh with her. So, if someone were to say this was just a friendship, to be honest, Yin couldn't believe that anymore. In her view, the way JK treated her went beyond mere friendship. Moreover, Yin no longer wanted to dwell on complicated matters that would only lead to stress. She had already experienced enough stress. Now, she just wanted to enjoy her time being with JK. JK is taking care of her here because he wants Yin to be able to endure and stay strong, so she will fulfill JK's desire. She doesn't want JK to worry, so she will grow and become a strong girl. JK and Jimin are seen casually chatting. They both work as prosecutors in the same office, so it's no surprise that they look very close. They have been friends since their college days. So, what about Yin? Have you talked to her? Not yet. Every time I try to say it, my heart feels too guilty. If you're afraid of hurting her, why not just consider Yin your real girlfriend now? Try opening up to her. You think I haven't tried that? She's been living with me for 2 years, and for the past year, I've been trying to love her. But I still feel like she's not really my girlfriend, just a friend. Jimin, hearing JK's explanation, is left without words. So, what do you want then? Do you plan to pursue a relationship with a woman you truly love? With whom, you say? How can I pursue a relationship with another woman when, even now, I'm struggling to handle my issues with Yin? If I were to date someone else and she found out that Yin has been living with me for 2 years, would that make any sense? Plus, if she knew that Yin often spends the night with me, cuddles, kisses me, do you think any woman would accept me like that? Hey, but why has this level of intimacy developed between you two? She used to have frequent nightmares, almost every night, and she'd cry alone. I tried to comfort her, so I brought her to my room. This happened quite often. But after that, she got used to it, and now she prefers sleeping with me more often than sleeping alone. Hey, do you not have any sexual desire for her at all? Sleeping together every night in the same bed? That's what's strange. There's none at all. I have no desire for her. That's why I said she's nothing more than just a friend to me. Well, your situation is quite complicated. The solution is simple. Just tell her. If you've been holding back because you didn't want to hurt her, you can choose your words carefully and hope she'll understand. It feels like I'm about to break things off, even though we've never officially dated. JK entered his apartment, but Yin didn't greet him as usual. It seemed like she was in her room. JK walked into his room without closing the door all the way. He immediately took off his suit and loosened his tie. Suddenly, his phone rang, and he saw V's name on the caller ID. JK quickly answered. Hey, it's been a while. How have you been? Good. How about you? How have you been? I'm good too. What's up? I assume you called me for a reason, right? Not really. I just wanted to tell you some good news. Jisoo and I are officially a couple now. Congratulations. After all this time, you two are finally together. What about you? Do you have a girlfriend now? Girlfriend? From where? Yin is still living with me. What? That means it's been how long? 2 years? Yeah, something like that. Hey, but that's not bad. Why don't you just date her? She does consider me her boyfriend, but I still can't. To me, she's still just a friend like before. Are you sure about that? I've been trying to love her for a year now, but my feelings just won't cooperate. Well, if that's the case, why don't you talk to her, so she won't get the wrong idea? I've tried talking to her several times, but I just can't bring myself to do it. You're quite complicated, my friend. Anyway, how about we meet up sometime? It's been a while since the three of us, you, me, and Jimin, hung out together. I'm fine with it. Feel free to schedule the time. Okay then. The call ended, and JK turned around, only to be surprised to find Yin standing right behind him, quite close, and with a slightly blushed face. JK, if that's how you've been feeling all along, why didn't you just talk to me directly? Yin, forgive me. No, I should be the one apologizing. I've made your situation so complicated. You've been so good to me, and I seemed oblivious to it. JK immediately approached Yin. It's not like that. Please don't feel that way. I understand. It's my fault, really. Besides, we were never officially dating. I should have been able to read the situation, but instead, I got lost in my own feelings. Forgive me, JK. It's not your fault, Yin. I'm the one who finds it difficult to express what I truly feel to you. If only I had. I'm the one at fault, JK. I wasn't aware of your situation. Yin, we can still be friends, right? Of course, JK. After all, you've been my best friend all this time. You're the best among them all. JK just smiled in relief, seeing Yin doing well now. Well, I'm going to my room now. JK smiled and nodded, and Yin promptly left his room, heading to her own. Yin closed her bedroom door, locking it from the inside. She leaned against the door. Finally, after all this time, her tears came. This time, she was making a conscious effort to control her voice, to ensure JK didn't hear her. Meanwhile, in JK's room, he looked visibly relieved. The emotional weight and burden he had been carrying were now lifted. His head felt lighter, and he was grateful that Yin could understand and accept it with an open heart. JK continued to smile. After a while, he decided it was time for a shower. In her room, Yin kept wiping her never-ending tears. She gazed at the tattoo on her wrist, right over her pulse, a small tattoo that read JK. She took a deep breath. Finally, Yin pulled her large suitcase out of the closet and began packing her things, organizing her belongings. I can't stay here anymore. This is so embarrassing. How can I face him tomorrow? Oh, I'm really clueless. Even though he's been so good to me, look at how awkward our relationship has become. Yin, you're truly foolish. JK had finished his shower and quickly changed into casual clothes. His stomach growled. He was hungry and eager to have dinner. He knew Yin was probably waiting for him. Finally, JK left the room. He noticed that the food was prepared on the table, but not yet served on the plates. He wondered why Yin hadn't come out of her room. Was she not hungry? JK decided to go to Yin's room without knocking. He grabbed the door handle to open it, but it was locked. For 2 years, Yin had been living with him, and she had never locked the door from the inside. This allowed JK to check on her well-being at any time. It was actually JK who had discouraged her from locking the door, fearing that she might be secretly attempting something risky. JK had never locked his bedroom door, either, with the intention of allowing Yin to come to him in case of an emergency or when she needed help unexpectedly. JK gently knocked on Yin's bedroom door. Yin, have you eaten? I had dinner earlier. You go ahead and eat. I was changing. That's why I locked the door. Alright, if that's the case. Finally, JK stepped away from Yin's room and went straight to the dining table. He ended up having dinner by himself this time. After dinner, JK returned to his room. He entered the bathroom to brush his teeth and get ready for bed. The clock showed it was already midnight. JK wanted to sleep, and he knew that starting from tonight, Yin wouldn't be sleeping with him in his bedroom anymore. Finally, he closed his eyes and tried to sleep. Half an hour had passed, but JK still couldn't fall asleep. He was getting increasingly concerned about Yin's condition. 1 hour had passed, and he was still awake. JK began to worry about Yin. He decided to leave his room and go to Yin's. He tried the door handle, but once again, it was locked. This time, what could be the reason? There must be something wrong. Yin, open the door now. Yin. JK continued to knock on the door, waiting for Yin's response. Finally, the door to Yin's room cracked open, and Yin peeked out from behind it. What's up, JK? Why did you lock the door? Well, Before Yin could finish her sentence, JK pushed the door open and walked right in. JK was surprised to see Yin's clothes, partially packed in a suitcase, while the rest were neatly laid out on the bed. Where are you going, Yin? I've been thinking, maybe it's better if I just go back to my old apartment, JK. JK had a feeling it would come to this, but he didn't expect Yin to plan to return to her old apartment so soon. When are you planning to move back to your apartment? I'll leave tomorrow morning. Alright then, I can drop you off in the morning. No need. I can take a taxi. It's fine, and I have to go to work anyway. Alright then, I just have a few more things to pack. Need any help? No, I'm almost done. Alright then, I'll go back to my room. Yin just smiled and nodded. Finally, JK left Yin's room and returned to his own. He laid back down, realizing that from tomorrow onward, Yin wouldn't be in this apartment anymore. JK gazed at the ceiling of his room, knowing that starting tomorrow, he'd go back to his usual life. Before Yin had come here, his thoughts wandered far. The next morning, JK and Yin had their last breakfast together. They sat across from each other without any intention of starting a conversation. Both of them were lost in their thoughts. Silently, JK couldn't help but steal a glance at Yin, who was peacefully eating her toast. His eyes inadvertently focused on her hand holding the bread, where he saw the tattoo with his name. Once again, he felt guilty towards Yin, but he couldn't change his feelings. JK tried to lighten the mood between them. Yin, even after this, make sure to come here often. My door will always be open for you. Of course, and you should come to my place often too. They exchanged smiles, and then both looked down, realizing that this was their last breakfast together. Starting from that night, they would lead separate lives. After breakfast, JK helped Yin load her 2 suitcases into the trunk of his car. JK started the engine and drove to take Yin back to her old apartment. It wasn't too far, only about a 30-minute drive. Unbeknownst to them, they arrived at Yin's old apartment building. JK helped her unload her 2 suitcases from the car, and the building's security guard warmly welcomed Yin, who hadn't been around for 2 years. "You can leave me here. They'll help me from this point." JK nodded and gave her a small smile, feeling a mixture of emotions as he prepared to say his goodbyes to the office. As JK continued driving, he couldn't help but glance at the rearview mirror as Yin disappeared into her apartment building. He knew the address of Yin's apartment and her hometown address as well. But why did he have this ominous feeling that this might be the last time he would see her? Finally, he pulled over for a moment, gazing at Yin's apartment building. It couldn't be true. It was just his overthinking. Yin would be perfectly fine, and he could visit her anytime. However, the heaviness in his chest persisted as he left behind the building, trying to push away the negative thoughts, and with a heavy heart, he resumed his journey, driving further away from the apartment. Yin had now arrived back at her apartment. She took a deep breath and looked around the entire room. There was a sense of nostalgia being back here. She began cleaning every corner of her apartment, even though it wasn't too dirty, just to make it more comfortable. Before she knew it, it was already noon. Yin relaxed on the sofa, thinking about something. She reached for her phone, opened Instagram, and scrolled through her feed. Over the past 2 years, she has uploaded many photos of herself and JK. She gazed at these pictures for a moment, and her eyes started to well up. Finally, she deleted all the photos of JK from her Instagram feed. Only pictures of herself and her parents remained. She changed her Instagram profile picture, replacing the previous one of her and JK with a photo of her with her parents, just like it used to be. The same goes for her Line chat profile picture, which used to be a photo of her with JK, but she changed it back to a picture of her with her parents. This way, he surely won't feel bothered anymore, right? She puts her phone on the table, leans back, closes her eyes tightly, and decides to take a nap on the sofa. As usual, JK and Jimin are seen having coffee after having lunch. JK tells Jimin that Yin left her apartment this morning. "Well, that's good then. It means you shouldn't be worried about her anymore, right?" JK nods briefly, not in the mood to give a longer answer. He is curious, wondering if Yin needs any help, considering her apartment has been empty for 2 years. He wanted to send a message to Yin, but his eyes were drawn to Yin's profile picture, which had now changed. It was a photo of Yin with her parents. Yes, Yin had used that same photo when they weren't close yet. Then she changed it to a photo of the 2 of them together. And now, Yin has changed it again. JK sighed, realizing that Yin seemed to be rearranging her heart, perhaps getting used to forgetting him. JK closed the Line app and opened Instagram, checking Yin's profile. His suspicions were correct. There were no longer any photos of him on Yin's Instagram. Everything had been deleted, and her Instagram profile picture had changed as well. On the other hand, JK had never uploaded a photo of Yin on his social media feed from the beginning. He was the type of guy who wasn't very active on social media. It seemed like Yin was doing okay. He decided to cancel his plan to send a message to her. In Yin's living room, she woke up from her nap, realizing it was already 3 in the afternoon. Her stomach rumbled with hunger. She hadn't had lunch yet, so she headed down to the nearest mini market to buy a bunch of instant noodles and a few cans of beer. Back in her apartment, she immediately cooked the instant noodles and devoured them hungrily. After the meal, she lounged on the sofa, turning on the TV to watch something interesting. Her eyes were on the TV screen, but her mind wandered far away. She hardly noticed that the TV shows kept changing. Before she knew it, it was 7 in the evening. Feeling a bit thirsty, she opened a can of beer she had bought earlier. 3 cans later, she began to feel tipsy. She staggered into her bedroom and got ready for bed. In JK's apartment, it was already 8 in the evening. He had just parked his car in the basement and was getting ready to go upstairs to his apartment. JK entered his apartment and quickly changed his clothes. He headed to the kitchen, feeling extremely hungry. JK started to cook a simple meal and served it for himself. As he sat at the dining table, he gazed ahead, used to having Yin in front of him, but now there was an empty chair. JK shook his head. After finishing his meal, he washed the dishes and went into his bedroom. He prepared to clean up and then lay down on his bed. JK kept changing his sleeping position, but he couldn't find a comfortable one. He wondered what Yin was doing right now. Had she eaten dinner? They usually dined together. Was she already asleep? JK was also curious about Yin's first day back in her old apartment after 2 years. There must be a lot of cleaning to be done. He thought that she should have returned on a Sunday, so he could help her tidy up. JK tried to contact Yin on her phone, but there was no response. Had she already gone to sleep? Finally, he decided to send a message. Yin, I've been trying to reach you, but you haven't answered. Are you asleep or did you forget to check your phone? How was your first day back in your old apartment? Must have been tiring, right? Please respond if you see this message. After sending the message to Yin, there was still no reply, not even a read receipt. As the night grew later, JK eventually fell asleep. The clock showed 7 in the morning, and JK woke up, getting ready for work. He made himself a chocolate spread sandwich for breakfast. While eating, he couldn't help but think about Yin. He checked his phone and noticed there were no signs that his messages had been read. Frustrated by the lack of response, JK decided to call Yin, but once again, there was no answer. Had she not woken up yet? He sent another message. I've tried calling you multiple times, but no answer. Are you still asleep? If you see my message, please reply. With that, JK left his apartment and headed to the office. In Yin's apartment, Yin had just woken up. It was already a.m. Her head was pounding, and she felt very hungry. She made herself some instant noodles and ate quickly. After her meal, she headed to the bathroom for a shower. Feeling refreshed, she turned on the TV and lounged on the couch, not realizing that it was already 3 p.m. Those feelings returned once again, the ones she had been trying so hard to escape for a long time. Yin fought desperately to push away the haunting thoughts, but they came back relentlessly. Yin tightly covered her ears, trying to block out the voices in her head. However, the more she covered her ears, the clearer the voices became. I want to live. Please, don't disturb me. Sweat started to form on Yin's forehead, and her breath grew heavy. She was trying her best to stay calm. For whom do you live? I live for myself. She continued to fend off those voices. But why did they have to return? She grabbed a can of beer, finished it off, and then opened another one, drinking it down. Her mind began to calm down, and she could clear her thoughts again. She opened another can of beer and sipped it until it was empty. A small smile graced Yin's lips as she remembered the times when she was a child, playing with her parents on the beach. They built a giant sandcastle together, and it was eventually washed away by the rising evening tide. Feeling drowsy, Yin drifted off to sleep on the sofa in front of the TV that night. It was 8 p.m., and JK had just returned from work when the apartment bell rang. The pizza he had ordered had arrived. Tonight, he decided to go for takeout. He was too tired to cook. JK sat on the sofa, turned on the TV, and began eating the pizza in front of him. In between bites, he checked his phone once again. Still no response from Yin, and she hadn't even read his messages. Has she had dinner yet? What's she eating? Frustration welled up in JK as he ran his hand through his hair. Yin was always on his mind, even when she wasn't physically around, and it was starting to bother him. While Yin used to live with him, he grappled with the conflicting emotions between his feelings for Yin and her perception of their relationship. Now that particular issue was resolved, everything was clear, and Yin didn't misunderstand anymore. However, a new concern weighed on his mind. How was Yin doing after all of this? She no longer lived with him, and he couldn't monitor her. Additionally, none of his messages were being read by Yin, and she wasn't picking up his calls. It became a new burden on JK's mind. Why did life have to be so complicated? Couldn't he just live a relaxed life without constantly overthinking everything? Yin truly had a way of making JK's life far from easy. Tomorrow was Sunday, and JK planned to check on Yin as early as possible. He couldn't leave this any longer. JK resumed eating, while his mind wandered in every direction. He was convinced that Yin was doing well, as he had seen her recover. She rarely had nightmares anymore, and in fact, she never did again. Her condition when they were together had returned to normal. After finishing his meal, JK got up from the sofa, turned off the TV, and cleared away his food trash. He headed to his bedroom to rest. Early the next morning, he would go to Yin's apartment. Yin woke up from her sleep. She checked the wall clock, which showed 5 a.m. Her body was sore, feeling lethargic, and her back was uncomfortable. She was very hungry. The last time she had eaten was at 9 a.m. the previous morning when she woke up. Finally, she got up and started to make instant noodles. She devoured them hungrily. After gaining a bit of energy, she decided to tidy up her apartment. She collected the empty drink cans and threw them into the kitchen trash can. Yin opted to take a shower, refreshing her body, before deciding to go back to bed. Now Yin felt rejuvenated, wearing clean clothes, her hair combed, and her face looking fresh. Suddenly, her apartment door was knocked on. She checked the wall clock. It was only 6 a.m. Who could it be? Normally at this time, It would be the building management collecting monthly dues. But why were they collecting dues now? It wasn't the end of the month yet. In the end, Yin peeked through the small hole in the door, and to her surprise, it was JK. Why was he here so early? Yin quickly opened the door. JK was surprised to see Yin looking so fresh early in the morning. He had expected Yin to open the door looking sleepy, but this was different. She had even showered. This somewhat relieved JK's concerns. At least Yin seemed to be fine. Yin gazed at JK standing in front of her with a sense of longing. Normally, she would have already embraced JK in a situation like this. However, she was aware that things were different now. Yin tried her best to control herself, not to touch JK. Both of them stood there, gazing at each other, without a smile. They both held back their feelings. Yin wanted to get closer, but was afraid that JK might feel uncomfortable, given their previous interactions. JK has actually been wanting to hug Yin all this time. Nevertheless, there's a longing in his heart because usually, Yin is always with him, but now she seems to be distancing herself. JK wants to hug Yin, but he's afraid that she might misinterpret it again. So, they both just look at each other without moving any closer. Until finally, "Will you keep letting me stand outside like this?" Yin was startled by her reverie, and she eventually smiled. "Of course not. Come in." JK finally entered and headed straight to the sofa. He looked around Yin's apartment, relieved that she could still live normally, just as before. "Wait here for a moment. I'll be in my room for a bit." JK nodded, and Yin promptly went into her room. She went to her dressing table, covered up the dark circles under her eyes with makeup. Yin also combed her still slightly damp hair and applied some lip gloss to prevent dry lips. However, as she was about to start doing her makeup, her hand stopped. What was the point of getting all dolled up? Who would even see her? JK? Their relationship was clearly only that of friends and would not progress any further. Yin's eyes started to feel warm again, and she took a moment to control her breathing. Finally, Yin placed her makeup back on the table. She decided to go. As she was in front of JK, there was no need to put on makeup. The important thing was that her dark circles were well hidden, and her hair was no longer messy. That was sufficient. Meanwhile, as Yin entered her room, JK quietly went into Yin's kitchen to assess the situation. Silently, he opened the fridge and was taken aback to find it empty, with only bottled water neatly arranged inside. There wasn't even a single egg left. He then looked around, and his eyes fell on the rice cooker. JK opened it and found no rice or any trace of it ever being used. It was spotless, as if it had never been used. JK's jaw clenched, and he continued to check everything he could. His gaze landed on the closed trash bin. He opened it and was further surprised to find several beer cans inside. JK checked the contents, reaching his hand into the trash bin and finding nothing but instant noodle wrappers. He washed his hands in the sink and then examined the kitchen cabinets, only to find them empty as well. There were just a few instant noodle packets and beer cans. JK let out a long sigh and immediately returned to the sofa, pretending to sit and wait for Yin to come out of her room. His jaw was still tense, and unconsciously, he began to massage his temples. Now, JK had a better understanding of Yin's real situation. She was not doing well. Shortly after, Yin came out of her room and sat on the sofa, albeit a bit farther from JK. She felt somewhat uncomfortable. At this moment, JK was looking at her with an intense gaze, as if he wanted to dissect her alive. "Why didn't you ever answer my calls? Or read my messages? You called? Sent messages? Oh my, I forgot. Let me check my phone. Where did I leave it?" Yin started looking for her phone, which she found on a small table in the corner of the room. JK continued to observe her movements. "Oh my, I didn't realize, JK. My phone is dead. I need to charge it. But where's the charger? It seems like it's still in my suitcase. I haven't unpacked it yet." "So, you haven't charged your phone or checked it since you came back here? You didn't even notice that it's been off for a while? You don't even care where you left your phone?" For some reason, JK's words irritated Yin a bit. She finally shifted her gaze to JK, who was now looking in her direction. "What's the importance of a phone to me now? Both of my parents are gone. They will never call me again. I used to keep my phone on all the time, so I wouldn't miss their calls. Now there's no reason for me to do that anymore. I called you multiple times since yesterday, and you didn't answer. I sent you messages, and you didn't reply, not even read them. That's because I didn't know, and I didn't hear my phone ring. It's because you don't care about the state of your phone. And why should I care? What am I hoping for when it rings? It's not my parents calling. I'm the one calling you. I'm the one sending you messages. So what? Yes, it rang because you were calling and sending messages. What's next?" JK looked confused and didn't know how to respond. Meanwhile, Yin continued to gaze at him, and they shared a silent moment. If yesterday I kept my phone alive because I thought maybe you would contact me, need something, or have something to convey or ask before returning to your home. But now there's no reason for it anymore. Now I think I don't need my phone. What's its purpose for me now? JK sighed. If that's what you think, what if I want to contact you? And why would you contact me? Yin, I'm worried about you. And why are you worried about me? Who am I to you now? I'm not who I used to be. You don't need to worry about me anymore. In the first place, you shouldn't have worried about me. Yin, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you feel. JK, can you stop being kind to me? Don't be like this in front of me anymore. I regret it. You should have just left me alone at home, Pohang, from the beginning. JK fell silent. He knew that Yin wasn't doing well right now, and it was all because, once again, JK sighed in frustration. This time, he was the cause of it. Yin and JK are now sitting in silence. Yin is back on the sofa, continuously gazing at him. After checking Yin's kitchen earlier, JK now knows that her condition hasn't been great since returning to his apartment. Her life is disordered, including irregular eating habits. Suddenly, Yin, didn't we promise that after this, we would remain friends? I never considered you an enemy, JK. Then why are you avoiding me? Actually, I'm not avoiding you. I've just been really unfocused with my phone lately. Alright then. I won't bring up the phone issue anymore. How about your eating habits since you came back here? My meals are quite regular. If I can't cook, I order food. Is that so? Yes, it is. I'm like that. You still haven't made any plans for work, Yin? Aren't you getting bored at home? For now, I just want to stay at home. I can relax and watch things. Alright then. I'll head home. Take care of yourself, okay? JK, would you like to have breakfast with me? I'll order some food. Sure. Finally, Yin ordered breakfast, and soon the food arrived. They began to have breakfast together. Both Yin and JK were trying to lighten the mood, but it was clear they couldn't act as if nothing had ever happened between them. JK and Yin had their own thoughts. For JK, having breakfast together was a way to hope for a fresh start in their pure friendship. As for Yin, at least, this could be her last memory with JK. Unconsciously, Yin kept glancing at JK as he ate the morning soup. In Yin's eyes, JK is a very kind, caring, and attentive guy. Who do you think will eventually become his girlfriend? She must be very lucky. If JK is already so good to be with, imagining him with another girl as his girlfriend, Yin's heart would truly not be able to handle it. Imagine how JK will shower all his care and attention on another girl, just like what she received from JK all this time. Yin's fists clenched. Just by thinking about it, her heart already aches. Yin's gaze shifted to JK's arm. Usually, that arm hugged her, and soon another girl would feel the same. Yin's gaze now shifted to JK's broad chest, usually where she leaned on, cried on, fell asleep on, but soon another girl would experience it too. Ugh, just imagining it was driving her crazy. After the death of her parents, she lost her sense of direction in life. Ultimately, it was JK's care and kindness that enabled Yin to endure. If before she wanted to make her parents happy, now she wants to make JK happy. But it turns out JK doesn't want to be with her. In fact, all this time, JK has been waiting for her to move out of his apartment. Now that she's left his home, JK must be happy. At least one burden of his mind is over. He doesn't have to live with her anymore. Finally, both of them have finished their breakfast. JK knows that Yin has been staring at him constantly. Her gaze hasn't changed. JK knows Yin still loves him. JK sighed deeply. He was feeling increasingly conflicted. Why couldn't he just be firm about his decision when it came to Yin? Now, Yin's feelings had become the casualty of his indecision. Why are human feelings so complex? Can't they be simplified? If it's love, care. If not, don't care. JK kept berating himself for not keeping his feelings in check. He tried to remind himself that Yin was just a friend and that he shouldn't care so much, but for some reason, he couldn't help himself. Alright, Yin, I'll go home now. Yes, thank you for visiting me, JK. Don't worry, I'm actually doing fine. So, from now on, focus on your work. Yin, if you ever need help, don't forget that I'll do my best to assist you. I know that. Finally, JK left Yin's apartment, making his way to the parking lot. I'm sorry, JK, and thank you for everything. It's been about 2 weeks since that day, and they haven't been in touch. JK is also trying to limit his concern for Yin, attempting not to get too involved in Yin's affairs, even though he truly wants to know how she's doing. He's eager to ensure that Yin is alright. But Yin directly asked him not to act that way, not to be kind to her anymore. Yin's request is further limiting JK's actions. While JK intended to visit her frequently, Yin's words continued to resurface, and JK was worried that in the long run, Yin might get angry and feel disturbed again, just like that time. Their relationship could be described as becoming increasingly strained. Until one night, JK was abruptly awakened from his sleep, his breath racing. He had dreamt about Yin. It wasn't a nightmare, but rather a montage of memories from their time together, replaying like a film in his dream. Right now, JK was feeling an intense longing for Yin. The clock showed 2 in the morning. JK remembered that it had been 2 weeks since they last talked. JK got up from his bed and walked out. He found himself standing in the guest room, the room that Yin had once occupied. JK hadn't entered this room since Yin left the apartment. He slowly opened the door. His heart felt heavy, Yin's scent in here still lingering. He moved further into the room and sat at the edge of the bed. The room was now empty, devoid of Yin, with only the lingering scent of her body. Unconsciously, tears welled up in his eyes. Tomorrow, after work, he would visit Yin's apartment. He didn't care whether Yin would be angry or happy to see him. That was a concern for later. The following day, as he had planned last night, JK, still in his work attire, stopped by Yin's apartment after returning from the office. He knocked on her apartment door several times, but Yin didn't answer. JK tried calling Yin's phone, but it was turned off. He continued knocking in frustration, which caught the attention of a neighbor living next door. The resident of that unit doesn't live here anymore. She has even sold her place to a new owner. JK was shocked to hear the explanation from the elderly woman. He immediately went downstairs and inquired with the security guard about the truth of what he had just heard. It's true, Yin. She doesn't live here anymore. Her unit has already been sold. Since when did she move? It's been almost 2 weeks. JK returned to his car, his legs feeling completely weak. He now knew where he had to go. JK headed back to his apartment, prepared some clothes for a few days, and then got back into his car. His destination was Pohang. 4 hours passed on the journey. Now, it was 11 p.m. JK had arrived in front of Yin's house in Pohang. He sat in his car and saw that the house was completely dark, devoid of any occupants. The grass around the house had grown quite high, and there were no signs of life within. JK returned to his car, feeling thoroughly tired after a long day. He hadn't even had dinner. Finally, he looked for accommodation near Yin's house. Once he arrived at the hotel, JK immediately took a shower and ordered some food. Shortly after, his meal was delivered, and he ate it hungrily. JK lay on the bed, his mind constantly searching for a way to track down Yin. Where could she be now? Why had she disappeared? No, she hadn't vanished. She had deliberately distanced herself from JK. She had even sold her apartment. JK knew it was a deliberate act to avoid him. The impact he had on Yin's life was enormous. JK wanted to cry, but it wouldn't help. What he needed most was a solution. Finally, JK called Jimin, V, Jisoo, and Jenny all at once, setting up a conference call. He informed them about Yin's situation and asked if they could help him locate her by any means possible. Of course, JK, we're here for you. I'll do my best to help. So, you won't be at the office tomorrow? I'm still in Pohang. I'm not sure how long I'll be here. Don't worry, we'll find out more about Yin. Hang in there, JK. We know you must be feeling overwhelmed right now. We'll do whatever it takes to help you find her. You're not alone in this. Thanks, everyone. Your support means a lot to me. Can't we file a missing person report? We can't. She's not missing. She left intentionally. In her case, we won't get official support from the police. That's why I need you all to use any means necessary. JK, let's try to track her bank accounts. She must be making transactions. It's unlikely she's not using money. Oh, I know someone who can help with that kind of thing. Whatever methods you use, I really appreciate it. Please let me know any updates as soon as possible. The call was finally ended. JK lay on the bed. He was restless. Why did Yin have to end up like this? Why did she leave without telling him? He couldn't help but think about what Yin had revealed during their last meeting. And why are you worried about me? Who am I to you now? I'm not who I used to be. You don't need to worry about me anymore. In the first place, you shouldn't have worried about me. I don't even know why. I've always worried about your well-being, Yin. I've never been able to leave you unattended, especially after what happened to you. In a heavy-hearted mood, JK finally fell asleep from exhaustion. The next day, JK woke up feeling physically drained. His body ached, and he prepared to leave the hotel. His destination now was to return to Yin's house. JK returned to the house looking around. There were a few neighbors living nearby, and there was a small shop down the street. He approached them, inquiring about anyone who might have information on Yin's whereabouts. But all the answers were the same. No one knew where Yin was at the moment. Finally, JK felt it was pointless to wait there. He decided to return to Seoul for now and devise a new strategy to find Yin. While driving, JK kept thinking about what he should do to find Yin. He eventually called V and Jimin, inviting them to meet later in the evening. In the evening, at a nighttime cafe, Jimin, V, and JK had gathered. After a long time of not meeting, they never expected that they would come together, not for enjoyment, but to solve the problem JK was currently facing, finding Yin. However, before they started a lengthy discussion, something weighed on Jimin's heart. JK, what's the real reason you're searching for Yin? Didn't you previously say that you don't have feelings for Yin? You considered her just a friend. If that's the case, why go through all this trouble to find her now? Right, I was thinking the same. Why are you looking for Yin's whereabouts? Honestly, I can't just let her be on her own. I want to know her condition, whether she's okay or not. Do you actually love her or not? Why are you asking me that? JK, honestly, back when we were in college, I had feelings for her at one point. But you know what made me step back and not confess to her? It's because I saw how possessive you were of her. Didn't you realize that there were actually many guys who liked Yin on campus, but they backed off because it was so evident that you were extremely protective of her? Did I really come across that way back then? Jimin started to get frustrated with JK. Finally, he asked V to explain what had been happening. Hey, JK, haven't you noticed that you've been so caring about her all along? Well, because you were so caring to the point that you couldn't bear to hurt her feelings. JK, if it weren't for you, I might have been dating Yin by now. For some reason, hearing Jimin say that made JK's blood boil. Wow, look at, hahaha, even your reaction now is getting intense as you look at me. If that's the case, why didn't you approach her from the beginning? How could I approach her when every time I was about to, you'd act as if she was yours? I don't think I ever made it seem that way. It's like you've unconsciously done it. What exactly did I do? When she needed a ride home, you were the first to offer. When she needed help with her assignments, you were the first to assist her. And do you remember the multiple times she fainted? I actually wanted to help her, but you were the first to reach out to her, as if no other man should touch her but you. And it's true, once Yin started living with you, you freely hugged her, invited her to sleep with you when she cried, spent late nights with her, isn't that right? Honestly, I've also thought that, if you claim your relationship with Yin is just that of friends, but in my opinion, your interactions with each other went beyond that. And how could Yin not have misunderstandings with the way you treated her? JK, what made you think it was just a friendship? He once told me it's because he never felt desire when he was approached by Yin. Isn't that right, JK? Hahaha. Jimin continues to laugh, while JK remains silent, glaring at Jimin in frustration. If that's what you're thinking, it means you don't know yourself well enough, JK. What do you mean, V? It means to arouse your desires, you need more stimulation. If not, you won't feel passionate. Unlike Jimin, he can feel desire and passion anytime, anywhere, even without stimulation. Hahaha. Hey, you think I'm that easy? That scummy? Huh? Hahaha. That's the difference between you and JK. Hey, can you two be serious for a moment? We're serious. The thing is, you yourself have never tried to kiss her, right? How can you go beyond that? And if I do that, she'll see me as a scumbag taking advantage of her situation. Do you want her to think of me that way? That's the answer. You can't say that you're not attracted to her. Yet, neither of you has ever engaged in interactions for that purpose. I guarantee that if Yin was naked in front of you, you wouldn't just stand there. You'd be attracted. You're crazy. The problem might be that both of you are not interested in that. But try it. If one of you starts, I'm sure it will happen. You care too much about her. How can that not be love? You're overly protective, guarding her feelings, afraid she'll get hurt. And you don't like other guys getting close to her. Those are signs that you have feelings for her. And you still claim you consider her just a friend? You can't even bear to reject her kiss. And it happened multiple times. You're clever, but also foolish. If you still consider her just a friend until now, let her be. You don't need to look for her. Let her be happy in her current life without your supervision. And if one day I meet her, then I'll be the one to marry her. Stop making a fuss with me, Jimin. Hahaha. Look, be careful. If you still claim not to love her, if you still consider her just a friend, let me make her my girlfriend, or even my wife. Moreover, I find it impossible for you not to love her. You've been living together for 2 years, sleeping together, hugging, eating, spending time together. I too used to spend time with Jisoo on weekends, and eventually, we realized that we love each other. While you two can live together without any arguments, always getting along, and claiming to be just friends, nonsense. If Yin is only your friend, just hand her over to Jimin. He's willing to marry Yin, right, Jimin? Ha ha ha, absolutely. JK grunted and glared at Jimin, while V and Jimin simply laughed at JK's frustration. Flashback, 10 days ago. Yin got off a bus on a quiet street. In her hand, she held a small shoulder bag and a sack. She walked alone into the bushes until she was close to the forest. Yin made sure there was no one around, and then she opened the sack and took out its contents, which turned out to be a small shovel. She began to dig a small but deep hole, placed her bag with her wallet and all her identification cards inside, and then covered it with earth, burying her entire identity in the ground. She dug another hole, not as deep, but long enough. Once she was satisfied, she took a utility knife from her bag. She cut both of her wrists, right and left. She didn't have much time now. She had to hurry. Blood was flowing from her veins. Yin slid her body into the hole she had dug herself, lying down to fit the elongated shape of the hole. Her body was getting weaker, but with all the strength she could muster, she gathered the remaining soil from her digging. She covered her body with the soil. Most of her body was now buried, though not perfectly, leaving her head and her hands above the ground. Her eyes gazed straight at the sky. Unknowingly, a tear escaped from her eye. Alright, if it's like this, I won't trouble anyone anymore. I'm sorry, Mom, Dad. I can't go on without you. Let me join you there. It must be more beautiful. I'll be with you soon, Dad. Mom. I'm sorry, JK. I've tried to forget you. I've tried to put my heart back in order, but it seems I've failed. I can't erase my feelings for you. Meanwhile, 2 young girls aged 13 were seen running. They were both frightened by what they had just witnessed and immediately rushed to their grandparents. Grandpa, we just saw a girl burying herself. What? Where did you see her? Come on, Grandpa, follow us. Finally, the 4 of them started running. JK appeared to be on the phone during a break in his work. Are you sure he can do it? I'm not sure, but there's no harm in trying. Now, we just wait for news from him. In that case, tell him to track all the transactions in his accounts. Wherever he used his ATM or credit card, we can find his current location. He's already done that, but it seems he hasn't used his ATM or credit card lately. His last transaction was about 11 days ago. He received a significant amount, possibly from selling his apartment. After that, there haven't been any transactions. Alright, if there are any updates, please let me know promptly, V. I'll definitely inform you as soon as I have any news. Not long after, Jimin arrived at JK's table. JK, I've asked RM to do it. He said Yin's phone was last active at his apartment location. After that, we've lost track of him. Alright. JK slumped back in his office chair, feeling frustrated. Yin, where are you? Finally, JK decided to call one of his acquaintances. What's up, JK? My friend has gone missing. Can I make an official report to the police? Missing? How? Why do you say she's missing? She's been gone for almost 2 weeks without a trace. If it's like that, tell her family to make an official report and provide detailed information about when they last saw her, what she was wearing, where she might have gone, and who she was with. It's a bit complicated. She doesn't have any family left in this world, and the last person who saw her was the former security guard of her old apartment, which she no longer lives in since she sold it. So, she hasn't gone missing, she just moved. Yes, you're right. In that case, you can't report a missing person because she hasn't gone missing. She moved. The last living witness states that she moved, not that she went missing. But nobody knows where she moved to. Someone's right to privacy doesn't require them to report their change of address to anyone who isn't family. Unless the family states she moved and went missing, which would be a family report, but you're her friend, and you don't have the right to know her current location. So, you can't file a missing person report unless you provide testimony that she has been abducted or detained, and you witnessed it or suspect it's happening to her. But in this case, she moved. JK took a deep breath, knowing it would come to this. However, he still wanted to give it a shot. Suga, can't you help me? Not officially, but I'm asking for your personal assistance. Please help me. What do you mean? Do you want me to discreetly track her? Actually, that's exactly what I need. JK, it's not as simple as you might think. That's why I need you. I've contacted all my connections, but I still can't find her. Let's meet in person. Issues like this can't be handled over the phone. Alright. JK ends the call and leans back. Hopefully, this will help. JK drives his car at night, heading to meet Suga, one of his police contacts who has often helped him solve various cases in his role as a prosecutor. JK continues to drive until he stops on a street. Suga gets into the car, and JK resumes driving. After finding a suitable location, the car pulls over. JK hands an envelope to Suga, who immediately inspects it. Inside are printed photos of Yin and several pages containing all the information JK knows about Yin. Another photo shows Yin's house in Pohang, complete with the full address. Is this all the information you can provide? Nothing more? That's the most comprehensive information I have. I don't know anything else. So, your girlfriend is avoiding you, huh? Well, you could say that. Hahaha, that's your business. I'll contact you again later. 2 years have passed. JK has made every effort possible. He's reached out to all his connections, spent a considerable amount of money hiring people to find Yin, but all to no avail. Up until now, JK hasn't given up and continues to try everything to locate Yin. Every week, he visits Pohang, waiting in front of her parents' house, hoping that maybe Yin will return there. In Pohang, he also inquires about Yin's whereabouts among her neighbors, but they all say that Yin hasn't returned home since her parents passed away. It's undeniable, a sense of fear is creeping into JK's heart, something he's been avoiding all this time. He's afraid to think about the possibility that Yin might still be alive or might have passed away. He's scared to even imagine it, but JK can't deny that this possibility is real, especially considering Yin's fragile and vulnerable psychological state. Regret? Absolutely. If time could be rewound, he would never have let Yin leave his apartment. He would never have let Yin feel alone in this world. JK regrets why he didn't sacrifice his own feelings back then. Even if he didn't realize he was in love with Yin at that moment, he should have pretended to love her. In the end, indeed, he did love her. Why did he have to overthink his feelings at that time? They could have continued living together without worrying about the labels or the nature of their relationship. When Yin used to live with him, he could see her happy face. He could still see her smile. JK regrets because being apart from Yin like this has made his life more stressful and terrifying. If back then he was only burdened with the uncertainty about their relationship with Yin, now the weight of his thoughts is 1,000 times heavier than that. Now, his main focus is finding Yin with no clues whatsoever, and he always hopes that Yin is still alive up to this point. He misses Yin. He misses the peaceful life they had when they lived together, just like before. If only that hadn't happened, maybe they would be married and happy by now. On one night, the ringing of his phone continues to disrupt his sleep. He wakes up and sees Suga calling him in the middle of the night. JK, I can track her. She just made a cash withdrawal in Nam Wam. I'll send you the exact automated teller machine unit location. Nam Wam. Yes, it seems like she's living in Nam Wam now. Alright. JK immediately turns off his phone and proceeds to contact Jimin. What's up, JK? Can you help me right now? What's going on? Accompany me to Nam Wam tonight. Why? Suga just called me. It seems Yin is now living in Nam Wam. Really? Alright, let's get ready. I'll pick you up, so you don't need to bring your car. Okay then. The clock showed 2 AM. Right now, JK and Jimin are on their way to Nam Wam, and it takes about 3 hours to get there. With the directions provided by Suga, they finally reached the location where Suga said Yin had withdrawn money from the automated teller machine. 3 hours have passed, and they arrived at the designated location. It's 5 AM, and they have just arrived at the designated location. And yes, there is an automated teller machine at that location, which was suspected to be where Yin withdrew money from her account the day before. Finally, JK and Jimin got back into the car. So what are we going to do now? Should we try to guess where Yin lives now? I never expected her to move here. And why did she only withdraw money after almost 2 years? Who has been supporting her financially all this time? Maybe her husband. Don't provoke my anger, Jimin. Hahaha, relax a bit, JK. Don't be too tense. You might get stressed and not think clearly later. I've been stressed enough for the past 2 years, so don't provoke me. I might lose my temper. Alright. So, what now? What should we do? Just drive around, that's all. What else can we do? I'm not sure what else to do. Do you have a picture of her? Yes, I do. Let's prioritize asking in places she might have visited. JK nodded, and before starting their mission, they fueled up with some breakfast. As time passed, it was already 7 AM, and the area started to buzz with more activities. JK began asking the shop owners, showing Yin's photo on his phone. None of them recognized Yin. JK and Jimin were starting to feel disheartened until they asked a woman selling porridge, showing her Yin's photo on the phone. "Oh, isn't that Yuna?" JK and Jimin looked puzzled yet intrigued. "Yuna?" "Yes, her name is Yuna. She often buys porridge here, almost every night." "Do you know where she lives?" "I don't know, but she always comes from that direction." She pointed toward a side of the road that Yin frequently passed. "Alright, thank you for the information." Jimin and JK began to explore the path the elderly woman had mentioned. Then, finally, JK's eyes widened. His heart raced as he saw the person he had been searching for all this time. Yin was standing in front of a mini market alone. Without hesitation, JK rushed to approach Yin, with Jimin following closely. JK's heart was racing, and he could barely contain his emotions. JK began to approach Yin and called her name. "Yin." Yin turned toward JK with a look of shock on her face. "JK, why are you here? I've been looking for you everywhere." Without hesitation, JK embraced Yin. Meanwhile, Yin was still too shocked by the sudden encounter to respond to JK's hug. JK released his embrace and gazed at Yin, who was also looking at him. The look in her eyes wasn't changed, and JK could clearly see the love in her eyes. "She still loves me." However, suddenly, an elderly woman emerged from the mini market, carrying a crying 1-year-old child. "Yuna, what should I do? He won't stop crying, and I don't know what he wants." The elderly woman stood in front of Yin with the child, who reached out to Yin while crying and called out, "Mommy, mommy." Yin immediately took over and picked up the child. "Why have you been crying, sweetheart? What do you want?" JK, who saw this, felt his legs go weak, and Jimin was equally shocked. Both of them were astonished. "Yin, do you have a child?" Yin smiled at JK. "Yes, this is my child." JK and Jimin were increasingly shocked to hear Yin's confession. They exchanged glances, and Jimin could see that JK was devastated now. But why does Yin seem? Jimin could also see from Yin's gaze that she still appeared to love JK. JK, still in a daze, shifted his gaze to Yin's wrist, where a tattoo with his name, JK, was clearly etched. Yin was trying to calm the child in her arms. Meanwhile, JK couldn't divert his attention from Yin. He was still surprised by what he was witnessing. Yin had a child? Suddenly, the grandmother noticed JK and Jimin. She approached them and asked, "Who are you? Are you Yuna's friends?" JK, still focused on Yin, didn't respond. Jimin answered, confirming that Yin was Yuna. "Yes, we are Yuna's friends." The grandmother approached Jimin, extending her hand for a handshake. "What's your name?" "I'm Jimin." Then, she turned to JK. "I'm JK." As JK introduced himself to Aunt Yuyong, her expression immediately changed. "Well, now that you're here, how about visiting our place?" Upon hearing Aunt Yuyong's offer, JK glanced at Yin, who seemed indifferent and busy calming her child. JK and Jimin exchanged looks, their eyes communicating silently to accept Aunt Yuyong's invitation. "If it's not too much trouble, we'd be happy to." "Of course, it's not a trouble at all. Come with us." "Oh, by the way, how did you get here?" "We came by car." "In that case, where is your car? Just bring it along." In short, they were now inside JK's car. An awkward atmosphere lingered within the car. Jimin, now sitting beside JK, attempted to lighten the tense mood. "So, Yuna, having a child means you're married, right? Why didn't you invite your friends to the wedding?" Yin remained silent, not answering. However, Aunt Yuyong, who was sitting next to Yin, seemed to sense the tension in the air and decided to respond. "Yuna isn't married, and this child isn't her biological child, so don't worry about that." JK and Jimin, upon hearing the explanation from Aunt Yuyong, appeared both surprised and relieved. Now, JK couldn't contain his curiosity and promptly inquired, "So, whose child is that?" "Oh, this is just one of the children living in our orphanage." Upon hearing Aunt Yuyong's explanation, Jimin and JK were surprised once more. So, Yin had been living in an orphanage? What was the story behind this? How did it happen? Actually, JK and Jimin were incredibly curious, but this conversation seemed sensitive. So, for now, they tried to stay calm and follow the instructions of the woman sitting behind them about where they should take the car. Finally, they arrived at a building with a sign that read Mother's Loving Orphanage. They all got out of JK's car, and the elderly lady immediately directed their guests, JK and Jimin, to a room. Inside the room, there were only JK and Jimin sitting together. Meanwhile, Yin, after getting out of the car, entered a different room. Shortly after that, Aunt Yuyong returned to the room along with someone carrying drinks to serve their to guests. This is our orphanage, and Yuna has been living with us for about 2 years. Aunt, if you don't mind me asking, why is she living here? Oh, we can't reveal that. It's something we've agreed to keep a secret among us. Soon after, Aunt Yuyong excused herself, seemingly understanding that the two of you came here to meet Yin. She intended to go call Yin. Not long after, Yin entered the room and took a seat on one of the sofas, keeping some distance from JK. Well, I'll leave you two alone to talk. Jimin immediately exited the room, leaving Yin and JK alone. Now, they were truly alone in the room. Yin, how have you been? I'm okay, how about you? I haven't been okay for the past 2 years. I've been stressed. My life is a mess. I've been searching for you everywhere. Yin, are you happy living here? Why are you asking that? JK? If you are truly happy living here, that's okay. After this, I can go back to Seoul peacefully. I won't force you to come with me, as long as you're genuinely happy here. But if you're not happy here. Before JK could continue his sentence, Yin had already moved swiftly to sit right next to JK and hugged him tightly. This time, JK was surprised by Yin's action. It didn't take long for JK to reciprocate the embrace. Both of them closed their eyes, holding back tears, longing, and emotions. Yin, forgive me. I'm sorry for constantly disrupting your life. Yin, I love you. I know. You know? Fool. There's no way you don't love me. I can feel your love, but you're mean. You're foolish. You won't admit that you love me. You're so mean. Yes, I'm so sorry. You're so mean. Yin's voice began to tremble. Tears started to fall. Knowing that Yin was starting to cry, JK hugged her even tighter, which only made Yin cry harder. For several minutes, they continued to embrace, with no words exchanged between them. Yin was the only one who kept crying. JK didn't ask her to stop. He let her cry as much as she needed to. After a while, even though Yin's crying had become quieter, it still hadn't stopped completely. Yin, if you keep crying non-stop, your head might start to hurt. Yin didn't respond. She just shook her head. Meanwhile, one of JK's hands had been gently stroking Yin's head all along. Half an hour had passed, and finally, Yin let go of her embrace with JK. They sat next to each other, with JK holding Yin's hand. Do you want to come home with me? This time I won't force you. I'll stay here. Alright, it's okay. Besides, there are many kids here. You won't be lonely. I'll come to visit you every week. Is that okay? Yin smiled and nodded in agreement. Where's your phone? I got rid of it a long time ago. Alright, before I go back, let's go buy a new phone for you? Yin smiled and nodded in agreement. Finally, they both stood up, intending to go to the phone store. Outside, Jimin was seen carrying one of the kids and playing with the others. Aunt Yuyong was also present. We're going to look for a new phone for Yin. Do you want to join, Jimin? No need. You guys go ahead. I'm having fun here. JK and Yin finally headed to JK's car. They drove around the city in search of a phone store and eventually stopped at a large one. They both got out of the car. JK selected the latest iPhone for Yin, but she insisted on choosing a cheaper one. However, JK continued to persuade her. It's okay, Yin. I'll pay for it. In that case, I'll pay for it myself. I have money. I have a lot of money. I know you have a lot of money, but consider it a gift from me. A gift? Yes, a gift. Because I'm grateful. You're still not married? Now. Yin immediately laughed upon hearing JK's statement. Eventually, she gave in and allowed JK to pay for her new phone. The business at the phone store was complete. Yin now had a new phone with an active SIM card. They both headed back to JK's car. While driving, JK took his phone out of his pocket and handed it to Yin, who was busy setting up her new phone. Yin, please enter your number into my phone, and then give you a missed call so you can save my number too. Yin received JK's phone and touched the screen, but it was locked. It's locked. What's the password? Your date of birth. Yin smiled and immediately entered her date of birth on JK's phone. It unlocked, and she smiled as she looked at the wallpaper on JK's phone. It was a photo of the two of them smiling. Yin saved both their numbers in their respective phones and handed JK's phone back. Then, she continued to explore her new phone, opening the camera app and aiming it at JK, who was focused on driving. Yin took multiple photos of JK. Suddenly, JK glanced at Yin, who was taking pictures of him. He laughed at her, and Yin continued snapping photos. Eventually, JK refocused on driving, letting Yin do as she pleased. Yin had taken many pictures of JK, and she smiled as she selected the best ones. Some were deleted due to blurriness or shaky positions. Before they knew it, they had arrived in front of the orphanage. It was already noon, and they were all in the dining room with the other children from the orphanage. While eating, JK and Jimin engaged with the curious children who were intrigued by their presence. Until one of the children asked, "Who are you two, uncle? Are you our mother's friends?" JK and Jimin had understood that their mother was Yin. "Right, I'm a friend of your mother's. Call me Uncle Jimin. And this is your father. Call him Father JK." JK glared at Jimin, while Jimin just laughed at JK's reaction. "Is he really our father?" "Of course, he's your father. Call him Father JK." Another young boy chimed in. "That's right, his name is JK, just like the one on Mom's hand tattoo." Hearing the young boy speaking like that finally touched JK's heart, and he smiled gently at all of them. "That's right, I am your father." While Aunt Yuyong whispered to Yin, "It turns out he's a good guy. He seems nice and very handsome." "Mom." Aunt Yuyong just smiled while teasing Yin, the girl she now considered like her own child. The day was nearing evening, and JK and Jimin were getting ready to go back to Seoul. They were accompanied by Aunt Yuyong and Yin. "Well, we're heading back now. Take care, Jimin." Jimin immediately got into the car, while JK remained standing outside. "Aunt, I'm going to head back now." "Alright, JK, take care on the road, and please visit us often." JK responded with a smile and a nod. He then approached Yin. "Yin, I'm going to head back now. Take care of yourself. I'll come back here next week. Have a safe trip. Don't forget to let me know when you've arrived." JK smiled and nodded, then he gently stroked Yin's head and planted a brief kiss on her forehead. After that, he got into the car, started the engine, and the car slowly drove away. "Yuna, why didn't you go with JK? Does Mom not want me here anymore? Am I a burden?" "Oh, my dear, it's not like that at all. It's just that today, I saw you smile genuinely for the first time. During these 2 years you've been here, I never saw a real smile from your heart. Your eyes can't lie. My late husband and I have given you a great deal of love, but it seems we cannot provide as much happiness as JK brings into your life. You are happier with him, so go back to him. But don't forget to visit us here, as we will surely miss you too." Yin hugged Aunt Yuyong. To her, this orphanage was like a second family. But what about the children in the future? "Don't worry, we have many caregivers here. Oh, by the way, do I need to call you Yin from now on? Or stick with Yuna?" "It's up to you, Mom. You can call me whichever you prefer." "Alright, we'll still call you Yuna here. Consider it your nickname for us. After all, it was you who introduced yourself as Yuna to us." Yin chuckled. She had deliberately kept her true identity hidden here to avoid being tracked by JK, but it turned out that JK always found a way to locate her. 3 hours later, after dropping off Jimin, JK is now back in his apartment. He recalls Yin's message, asking him to let her know when he arrives home. JK proceeds to send a message. "Yin, I've just arrived home." Shortly after, he receives a reply from Yin. "Okay, that's good." JK lies down on his bed. This time, the burden on his mind has truly vanished. After 2 years, tonight, he can finally sleep peacefully. Since then, JK and Yin's relationship started to improve. They exchanged messages every day, sometimes called each other, or simply sent a message. The important thing is that they never went a day without communicating, even if it was just for a brief update. Unnoticed, 1 week has passed, and JK visits Yin again. His arrival is welcomed with joy by Aunt Yuyong and Yin. He also brings plenty of food to share with the children at the orphanage. Now, JK and Yin are sitting together in the sitting room. They sit closely, almost touching. This time, Yin appears to be contemplating sharing something with JK, but it seems JK has noticed her behavior and how she seems like she wants to talk to him. "Yin, what's on your mind? Is something bothering you? My heart is torn into now." "What is it?" "I want to be with you, but at the same time, I don't want to leave this orphanage." JK smiled as he listened to what Yin said. He gently stroked her head and fixed her hair. "Don't worry, we can still visit here often. I don't mind if we come here every week, or you can even stay here sometimes. I won't stop you." Yin looked extremely happy hearing what JK said. What more could she ask for? JK was a truly caring man in her life, regardless of his past foolishness in realizing his feelings. But everything JK did for her always showed how much he cared. "Really? I can still come here often?" "Of course, as long as you're happy, we'll continue to visit here." "In that case, I'll go and pack my things." JK nodded and smiled. Yin left the room to sort her belongings. Now, JK was sitting alone in the room. After a while, Aunt Yuyong came over, and they sat face to face. "So, she will return to you now, JK. I ask you, From now on, take good care of her. Are you curious about how we found her? Aunt, please tell me the whole story. I've been curious since a long time ago, but there was never a right time to ask you. Finally, Aunt Yuyong told him how she and her late husband had managed to find Yin. Aunt Yuyong told the story in great detail. She explained that they had found Yin in a nearly fatal condition, attempting suicide, and even burying herself in the ground. As Aunt Yuyong continued her narrative, JK couldn't hide his surprise. His sense of guilt toward Yin was growing stronger. Finally, he sighed deeply. Aunt, from now on, you don't have to worry. I promise to always take care of her. I might have been foolish before, but I've changed. I'll make her happy in any way I can. Hearing JK's strong commitment, Aunt Yuyong felt relieved. Now she could let Yin go, whom she had come to consider as her own child, with peace of mind. The day had turned to evening, and JK and Yin bid farewell. A somber atmosphere enveloped the entire orphanage as they watched Yin's departure. However, they were confident that Yin would be happy with JK. The children shed tears as they bid farewell to Yin, but they quieted down after JK and Yin promised to visit them regularly. Yin now felt that her life had gained more meaning. Many people cared about her and looked forward to her presence. She no longer wanted to die because many would mourn her. After a 3-hour journey, they had finally arrived. They had a meal at a restaurant before reaching the apartment. JK was making coffee for himself in the kitchen. Meanwhile, Yin was seen carrying her bag towards the guest room, which was once her own room. But suddenly, where are you going? I'm going to this room to sort out my clothes. No, from now on, you'll sleep in the main bedroom with me. So, put your clothes in the closet in my room. It's quite spacious, with plenty of room for your clothes. Are you sure, JK? Is it not a problem? Why would it be a problem? I'm the one asking you to. Finally, Yin entered JK's room and began to arrange her clothes, while JK continued to make his coffee. Yin was already lying on the bed, using her phone, and she had changed into her pajamas. Shortly after, the bedroom door opened, and JK entered, opening the closet. He chose his thin t-shirt and sleep pants and started unbuttoning his shirt, taking it off and replacing it with his thin t-shirt. Yin felt uncomfortable seeing JK change in front of her, even though she was trying to focus on her phone. Why didn't he change in the bathroom? That's what Yin was thinking. After putting on his shirt, JK began to unbutton his jeans, and the sound of his zipper being undone could be heard. Yin grumbled inwardly, quickly changing her position to lie facing away from JK, still pretending to play with her phone. Why does he have to change here? Doesn't he feel embarrassed around me? I'm the one embarrassed by this, goodness. Meanwhile, JK, aware of Yin's discomfort, secretly smirked, and he proceeded to lower his jeans and change into comfortable sleep pants. Then he headed into the bathroom to clean up and brush his teeth. Once finished, he went to the empty side of the bed. Yin was still on her phone. Yin, you're not asleep yet? Not feeling tired? Yeah, I want to sleep. Actually, I'm already quite sleepy. Yin then placed her phone on the nightstand and moved closer to JK, who was lying on his back. She cuddled up to him and started sleeping on her side, facing JK, closing her eyes occasionally. This position was still quite common for them. In the past, almost every night, they slept cuddled up like this. Sometimes Yin would hold him like this. Sometimes JK would do the same, especially when Yin was feeling sad or crying. JK was still awake, and to him, there was no difference in this close position. He turned to the side, looking at Yin, who was still awake, but seemed drowsy. Why, aren't you sleepy? Not yet. I'm not sleepy. Why? Is something bothering you? Well, there is something, but it's not urgent or that important. What are you thinking? Yin, have you ever kissed? Well, of course. I used to kiss you quite often. I don't mean those kinds of kisses. Never mind. Forget I asked. So, what kind of kiss do you mean? 2 weeks later, JK is busy reviewing the case files currently in his hands. He checks the stacks of files and looks for concrete evidence in each ongoing case. Suddenly, his phone rings. It's from his mother in Bizen. JK immediately answers it. Yes, Mom. Are you busy? Kind of. I'm at the office right now. How are you, JK? I'm doing well, Mom. How are you and Dad? We are both fine here. Really, Mom? When will you introduce us to your future wife? Mom, why all of a sudden? It's not all of a sudden. I've been waiting for a long time. We want to see you get married and start a family. JK, don't get too obsessed with work and forget about getting married. You're already financially stable, with a steady income, a house, and a car. We've never asked for your money, as we're well off too, so you should be able to provide for a woman. JK sighed and closed his eyes while listening to his mother's lecture from the other side. Mom doesn't know that all this time. I've been providing for a girl in my apartment for years. JK, could it be that you've never dated until now? Can it be that there isn't a girl who wants to be with you? And don't tell me that you've secretly deviated? Deviated? Mom, what do you mean by deviated? Don't tell me that you're into the same sex. Are you being gay? Oh, my goodness, Mom, it's not like that. So what is it then? If you don't date a girl within the next year, I will find you a wife myself. Mom, I actually have a girlfriend now. I just didn't tell you because I've been quite busy lately. Is that so? Then send her photo to me later, okay? Alright. So when do you plan to propose to her? Mom, she's an orphan. Both her parents passed away in an accident, and she's their only child. Her grandparents are also no longer alive. Oh my, JK, she's had such a hard life. How did you meet her? She was my college friend, Mom. So, how long have you been dating her? We've been very close since our college days. What? And you've never told us? All this time, you've been coming back to Bizen alone, as if you were single. I've always seen you looking so sad, you know. At the time, I wasn't sure about telling you, and there were too many unexpected things happening between us, Mom, so I wasn't ready to talk to you about it. Why? Is it because she's an orphan? Oh, it's not just because of that, but many things have already happened between us. JK, your father and I don't have specific criteria for your future spouse. If you've chosen her, it means we trust your choice. Since you'll be the one living this life, as long as you're happy, we're happy too, JK. Thank you, Mom. I feel relieved after hearing your words. Alright then, I'm also relieved to hear from you. Now, don't forget to send her photo. JK's mom promptly ended the call. JK leaned back in his office chair, contemplating his mother's words. Marriage? Perhaps I should consider marrying her soon. After all, our life together now is not much different from that of a married couple. JK smiled again, reminiscing about his daily life with Yin. They truly embraced their roles as if they were a real married couple. He left for work, leaving Yin in his apartment. On the other hand, Yin took care of his needs, prepared his meals and clothing, even his work attire. They slept in the same room, and by now, they had often engaged in intimate moments, just like a married couple. JK's lips curved into a smile, remembering it all. Maybe it's best for us to get married, rather than continue like this. I'm sure she'll agree. Not long after, there was a new message from his mother. Where's her photo? Reading the message from his mother, JK quickly replied by sending a photo of Yin. JK went back to work. He had a lot of tasks to finish. It was now late in the afternoon. Yin had finished cooking dinner and felt a bit warm. She went into the bedroom to take a shower, changed into a casual mini dress for at-home comfort. After freshening up, Yin headed to the sofa and turned on the TV. Her body felt rejuvenated, but a strange drowsiness crept over her. Checking the wall clock, she realized JK would be home in an hour. While waiting for him, she decided to watch TV and lay down on the sofa. Unbeknownst to her, she soon drifted off into a deep slumber. 1 hour later, JK arrived at their apartment and heard the sound of the TV. He correctly assumed that Yin was watching it. He removed his shoes and socks and put on a pair of soft black slippers. JK walked toward the living room, but stopped abruptly when he saw Yin soundly asleep on the sofa. JK approached and observed Yin closely. In her hand, she held the TV remote, and she looked refreshed after having taken a shower as usual. He took the remote from Yin's hand and turned off the TV. Suddenly, Yin shifted slightly. One of her legs bent upwards, causing her mini dress to ride up slightly, revealing one of her smooth thighs. Yin moved again, and her body seemed uncomfortable on the sofa. Her movements caused her dress to ride up even further, offering a clearer view of both her thighs. As JK watched all of this unfold, he couldn't help but feel that familiar urge stirring within him. He was tempted to engage in those intimate moments again. Babe, how about we get married? I want to marry you. Really? You're not doing it out of obligation, are you? Of course not. Besides, what's the difference from our current relationship? Do you want to? Okay, fine. But what about your parents? My parents will support any decision I make. But I'm concerned, if they know my situation, will they accept me? What do you mean by your situation? I mean, my current situation. I don't have a guardian at all. Don't worry. Actually, my mother already knows. And you know what? My mother supports our relationship. Babe, trust me, they will love you. I promise. I know my parents well. Okay then, I trust you. Babe, have you eaten? Not yet. I was waiting for you. Alright, let's eat then. Now, they're both eating and having a light conversation. Babe, how about we go to Bizen this week? Yin, who was eating, stopped upon hearing JK's words. There's no denying that she still feels nervous. After all, this time she'll be meeting her potential in-laws. So, of course, she's nervous. Seeing Yin's nervousness, JK tries to comfort her. Babe, do you want to know what my parents are like? Yin looked at JK and started to become intrigued by what he was sharing. Yes, please tell me about your parents. I'm really curious. I've always had their support. My hobbies, my dreams, there were no restrictions from them, as long as what I did didn't harm me or put me in danger. They truly believed in me, and I never betrayed that trust. For both of them, as long as I'm happy, they are happy too. So, babe, right now, I'm happy being with you, and that would make them happy to see me happy. It sounds like your parents are really wonderful, aren't they? Of course. What about your grandparents? They've all passed away. Oh, okay then. Babe, aren't you curious about the condition of your parents' house? Don't you want to check on it? It's been 2 years. Wouldn't it be better to have it cleaned occasionally? I'm afraid that if I go back to that house, I'm afraid I won't be able to handle all the memories inside it. Alright then, when you're ready, don't forget to let me know. After all, the house should be maintained. It would be a shame to leave it neglected. It holds memories of you with your parents, right? You're right. Thank you, JK, for reminding me. I hardly ever thought about it. JK simply smiled while holding Yin's hand on the table, gently stroking it with his thumb, hoping to provide some comfort to Yin, even if just a little. Unbeknownst to them, they had already finished their meal together. Now, it was well past midnight, and for some reason, Yin couldn't sleep. Meanwhile, JK was peacefully asleep beside her. Yin's heart felt heavy, her eyes teary. JK was about to propose to her, even planning to introduce her to his parents. Yin should be happy, and in truth, she was. But this time, she missed her own parents terribly. She never imagined getting married in a situation like this, without being able to see the smiles on her father's and mother's faces. Tears welled up in Yin's eyes. Tonight, she missed her parents immensely. She wanted to tell them so much. She wanted to inform them that she now had a loving fiancé, willing to do anything for her. Unbeknownst to her, Yin's tears continued to flow, her chest felt tight, and she tightly sealed her mouth to muffle her sobs, so JK wouldn't hear her cry. Yin moved away from him slightly and slept with her back to JK. Her tears kept flowing until a few moments later. Yin felt JK's hand start to embrace her from behind. He began to kiss her head and gently stroked it. Babe, do you miss them? Your parents? Is it because I reminded you about your parents' house earlier? No. I miss them. I never imagined getting married when they were no longer here. JK turned her body, now facing him. He buried her face in his embrace and continued to gently stroke her head and back. Babe, they would be sad to know you're crying like this. I miss them so much. Yin continued to cry, and JK held her even tighter. This time, all JK could do was to be there for her, as he knew that telling Yin to stop crying would not ease her heart. What mattered most was that when Yin cried like this, he was always there by her side, providing her with a comforting embrace, so she wouldn't feel alone. That's what JK had always done, since the beginning, since a long time ago. Not long after, Yin's tears had ceased, her breathing became steady. JK glanced over, and indeed, she had fallen asleep. JK sighed in relief, then followed Yin to sleep. He knew that in the morning, his arm would most likely be numb, as it had become Yin's pillow. Well, so be it. This morning, JK woke up earlier than usual. One of his hands was really sore and numb. He checked the wall clock in his room, still plenty of time for him to get ready for work. He let out a heavy sigh, then his lips curved into a smile as he looked at Yin, who was still peacefully asleep in his embrace. Yin was sleeping on her side, facing his body, her face pressed closely against his chest. Slowly and very carefully, JK pulled his hand away. Finally, he was relieved. That hand, which was sore and numb, was now free and could be stretched. JK sat up and leaned his back against the head of the bed, stretching his body and neck. Suddenly, "Your hand is sore, isn't it?" "I'm sorry, JK." JK was surprised and immediately looked at Yin, who had opened her eyes and seemed to be observing him. "It's okay, babe. I'm used to it anyway." Hearing JK's words, Yin didn't calm down. Instead, she felt guilty. "Why are you saying it like that? Have I been bothering you too much?" "Well, yeah, it's true. You've been like this for a while now. Why are you apologizing just now?" "Well, starting now, I won't bother you anymore." Seeing Yin's reaction, JK laughed again and gently caressed Yin's head. "Hey babe, I was just kidding. Getting upset so early in the morning? And why do you have to apologize? Why do you feel uncomfortable? We've been like this for a while now. It's not you asking for it. I do it for you." "You say that, but I still feel bad." "Alright, from now on, no more feeling bad, okay? I was just kidding earlier." JK began to lean down and kissed Yin's forehead for a while, then he smiled as he saw Yin also smiling at him. "I'm going to get ready for work now." JK was about to get up from the bed, but Yin held him back. "Why are you in such a hurry? It's still early." JK smiled, looking at Yin, and he got back under the covers, embracing Yin again. They lay facing each other. Within JK's embrace, Yin simply smiled, keeping their faces close against JK's broad chest. There was no conversation between them, just silence, but both continued to smile without making eye contact. Until a few moments later. "Can I let go now? I need to get to work." Yin simply nodded and untangled herself from JK's embrace. "Alright then, I'll prepare breakfast." The two of them got up from the bed. JK headed to the bathroom while Yin left the bedroom to go to the kitchen. Not long after, JK emerged from the room, already dressed in his work attire. They both started having breakfast, and the atmosphere between them was warm and pleasant. Until eventually, almost unnoticed, their breakfast was finished. JK was now getting ready to leave for work. "Take care on the road. You take care at home too." JK kissed Yin's forehead briefly before heading out the door and making his way to the office. As usual, during their lunch break, JK and Jimin decided to take a detour to a nearby cafe for a coffee. "Are you two getting married? Wow, congratulations. I'm genuinely happy for both of you. That means..." Suddenly, a mischievous grin appeared on Jimin's face, making JK feel uneasy and curious. "What?" "It means you're absolutely sure about your feelings. And it also means I no longer have a chance to snatch her from you." JK rolled his eyes in annoyance at his friend's antics. He couldn't believe Jimin still thought that way, even though he knew it was just Jimin trying to tease him. "Can't believe you'd say that." "Hey, I'm just kidding. Don't be so uptight, dude. It's not fun to joke with you. Besides, I wouldn't want to enjoy someone you've already used." "You, watch your words." "Really? What's wrong with what I'm saying? I'm sure you used her now, enjoying her." "Wow, it must be really comfortable. Is that what you're thinking?" "Jimin, you really want to get punched, don't you?" Jimin just laughed, seeing JK's face turn red from his teasing. A few days had passed, and it was already Sunday. Currently, JK and Yin were lying in his room. They were planning to go to Bizin tomorrow morning. JK was about to call his mother to let her know that they would be visiting tomorrow. "Are you coming tomorrow?" "Yes, Mom. I'll be coming home tomorrow for a while." "Are you coming with your future wife?" "Yes, Mom. We're going there together tomorrow." "Alright, if that's the case." The call ended. JK looked at Yin, who was smiling at him. You heard that, right? My mom is really looking forward to meeting my future wife. Yin just nodded, still smiling. JK started to hug her. Babe, don't worry, my parents will treat you well. Yin, in JK's embrace, simply smiled. She hugged JK tightly, burying her face in his neck. The next day, early in the morning, they got ready to head to Bizen. Their journey would take up to 4 hours, and before they knew it, they had already arrived. Yin began to appear somewhat anxious, and JK could sense it. Finally, before getting out of the car, JK held Yin's hand and whispered to reassure him. Trust me, they will love you. They both got out of the car while holding hands. They walked together towards the tightly closed door. Before JK even had a chance to ring the doorbell, the door swung open, revealing JK's mother and father, standing behind the door to welcome them. JK's mother immediately hugged him, and so did his father. Then, their eyes quickly turned to Yin, and they smiled warmly in his direction. Welcome, Yin. I'm delighted you're joining JK today. Come on in. JK's mother hugged her briefly and held her hand as they walked inside the house. Meanwhile, JK's father embraced him, and the four of them eventually settled on the sofa. So, how was your trip? It went smoothly, Dad. A moment later, JK's mother stood up and went to the kitchen to prepare some drinks and a few snacks, serving them for everyone to eat together. So, do you have any plans to get married? We haven't thought about the timing yet, Mom. Why haven't you thought about it? Do you need advice from us? Sounds good. When do you think we should get married, Mom, Dad? Well, according to me, the sooner, the better. How about next month? That gives us 1 month to prepare. I'm fine with that. Babe, what do you think? All eyes were now on Yin, and she felt a bit awkward. Yin, if you think it's too soon, we'll respect your decision. What do you think? Are you ready? Babe, what do you think? Just be honest with me. I agree. All right then, it's settled. We'll start making all the arrangements. Where do you plan to have the ceremony? In Seoul or here? Where should it be? I'm still unsure, Mom. How about giving us some time to discuss it? Once all the plans are in place, we'll let you know how we'll proceed. That's right, honey. Let them have some time to discuss it first. Oh, of course. I don't mind at all. I asked because I thought you might have already planned it. It piqued my curiosity. How about we go to the dining table now? It's time for lunch. Finally, the four of them headed straight to the dining table and enjoyed their meal. After finishing their lunch, none of them got up. They were still engrossed in conversation about various topics. Yin sometimes felt a bit foreign to their family discussions because she had just met them for the first time. However, Yin admitted that she felt very comfortable being with them. She truly felt accepted into this family. Amid their conversation, JK's father suddenly got up and went into his room, while JK's mother continued chatting with JK, not paying much attention. Yin, who had been mostly silent, observed JK's father. After a while, his father came out of the room, carrying a large envelope and a key. JK, this is a gift from us because you're getting married. JK looked puzzled at what his father had placed in front of him. Meanwhile, his mother just smiled, looking at her son and Yin. This is the key to a new apartment for you both. It's more spacious with 3 bedrooms, and it's closer to the city center. Dad, why the trouble? When did you buy it? We bought it 3 years ago, but we plan to wait for you to be ready to get married before giving it to you. Dad, I still have enough money to buy a new apartment. You didn't have to do this. This is a gift from us, from your parents. Besides, we've been working hard all this time. For whom? JK, you are our only child, and all our assets will eventually be yours as well. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Mom. These are all the deeds and ownership documents. You can take them with you. All right, Dad. JK and Yin exchanged glances and shared a smile. You should move to the new apartment as soon as possible, JK. Besides, you're about to get married. Your old apartment is small, more suitable for a college student, not for a married couple. JK just smiled awkwardly and stayed silent. His parents didn't know that Yin had been living with him all this time. It was their privacy after all. In reality, it wouldn't be an issue if his parents found out, but as long as they didn't know, it was fine to keep it that way. The day was growing late. Now it was time for the two of them to say goodbye and return to Seoul. His parents reluctantly bid them farewell, understanding that JK would be back to work the next day. On the way back home, Yin kept smiling, and JK, seeing this, also smiled. Babe, you seem really happy? I am genuinely happy. Your parents are so kind. I feel like I'm truly accepted in your family. I told you they would love you. I feel like I can be myself. I don't have to force myself to be friendly. They make me feel comfortable just being me. Well, that's how they are. Yin, so, when do you think we should move? I never expected to receive a house. Honestly, I'm fine with your current apartment. Honestly, I have been thinking about getting a new house, at least something more spacious with a minimum of 3 bedrooms, because there will definitely be children in our future. Yin didn't respond. He just smiled. However, suddenly, babe, aren't you planning to take a pregnancy test? Why do you ask? I mean, we've been very active lately. Don't you have any suspicions? It could be. My period is due in a week, and if it doesn't come, then I'll check. Oh, alright then. GK, how about next week we go to my parents' house? Oh, are you ready? If that's with you, I think I'm ready, just like back then. Besides, it's been 2 years. The situation must have gotten worse. Right, the last time we cleaned it was 2 years ago. So do you still want to hire the same cleaning service we used back then? Yes, let's call them again, but this time, let's add more people to get it done faster. Alright then. Days turned into weeks, and before they knew it, a month had passed. They were now married, and the wedding celebration had been grandly held in Bizen, JK's hometown. Many guests attended, including JK's colleagues, their university friends, and most importantly, their close friends Jimin, V, Jisoo, and Jenny. Not to forget, Aunt Yuyong was present along with the entire extended family from the orphanage that had been a part of Yin's life. The remaining guests were primarily relatives and business associates of JK's parents. They had moved into their new apartment, and their life was comfortable and stable. Love between them was strong, and the good news was, Yin was pregnant, with her pregnancy just entering the 3rd week.